Remember that glorious final shot of Thelma and Louise, a 1966 Ford Thunderbird frozen midair over what everyone calls the Grand Canyon? Fun fact, it was actually dead Horse Point in Utah. Either way, that frame is seared into movie history. Two friends, one split-second choice, and a land yacht pretending to be a bird. Today, we're riding shotgun with that very 66 T-Bird, the chrome-clad co-star you might have overlooked, to unpack how a plush cruiser became the ultimate outlaw icon. On paper, this thing was built for country club cool. Not cliff edge chaos, about 700 pounds, over 17 feet long, and a big 390 cube V8 under the hood. It sips fuel like it's on vacation and glides like a living room on wheels. But in the hands of Ridley Scott, it morphed from personal luxury to personal liberation, carving tire tracks across the Southwest and straight into pop culture. Buckle up, tap that like, and hit subscribe. Because this isn't just a car story. It's how a turquoise time capsule became the third lead in a legend. Let's hit it. Number 10. The land yacht that became an outlaw ride. The 1966 Ford Thunderbird wasn't born to run. It was born to glide. Ford marketed it as a personal luxury car, the kind of machine meant for slow Sunday cruises and valet lines, not desert dust trails and police chases. At over 17 feet long and tipping the scales around 4,700 pounds, it earned its nickname, the land yacht. Under the hood sat a 390 cubic inch V8, smooth and confident, but about as fuel efficient as a campfire. Think single-digit miles per gallon, every road trip. Came with a side of gas station guilt. What makes it poetic is that this was the final convertible Thunderbird of its era. Literally, the open-top lineage before Ford closed the chapter. So, when Ridley Scott cast it in Thelma and Louise, the car's legacy aligned perfectly with the story. A final, defiant ride into freedom. It may have been built for country club parking lots, not state trooper slaloms, but in Hollywood. Even a yacht can outrun the law. But one car couldn't survive this road trip alone. Number 9-5, Identical Thunderbirds, a desert convoy. Here's a little movie magic secret. Thelma and Louise didn't ride in one Thunderbird. They rode in 5. The production team hunted down a small fleet of identical 1966 Ford Thunderbird convertibles, all painted the same turquoise blue and dressed with matching Arkansas plates. Each car had a specific job. One was the hero car for close-ups. Another was packed with camera rigs to capture those tight interior shots. One stayed on standby as a backup. And 2 were sacrificial stunt doubles destined for dusty doom. Keeping them consistent was a continuity nightmare. A fender ding or cracked windshield meant swapping cars mid-shoot, sometimes in the same day. In the desert heat, one would overheat, another would lose a hubcap, and the crew would just roll out a twin, like nothing happened. Gina Davis once joked that Ridley Scott had a Thunderbird army, and she wasn't wrong. Those look-alike convertibles shared one destiny, and some of them had a date with gravity. Number 8. Stunt driving off a cliff. Thunderbirds do fly. When it came time to film that unforgettable leap into cinematic legend, the crew didn't just send one Thunderbird flying. They launched several. The first attempt was a disaster. The car nosedived straight off the cliff and dropped like a lead anchor, giving Ridley Scott the opposite of graceful. So, the team engineered a special ramp to give the next T-Bird some lift. Think of it as an old-school catapult for a 2.5-ton convertible. The second launch was pure gold. The car sailed out into the Utah sky, wheels stretched like wings, freezing mid-flight in a shot that would define 90s cinema. A third Thunderbird was prepped just in case, but they didn't need it. Take 2 became the take. Inside the doomed cars were eerily lifelike dummies of Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis, strapped in for their big moment while the real actresses watched from a safe distance. Turns out Thunderbirds can fly, with a running start and a very brave insurance adjuster. If a 1 or 2-ton convertible base jumps for your entertainment, the least you can do is like this video. Okay, back to the carnage. Of course, not every bird makes it home. Number 7 T-Bird still lives at the bottom of the canyon. Not every Thunderbird made it back from that legendary leap. One still rests at the bottom of the canyon. When the crew filmed the final scene, recovering a 4,600-pound convertible from the cliffs of dead Horse Point proved almost impossible. So they left it there, Susan Sarandon later confirmed that the car they sent flying in the final take is still down there. Somewhere beneath that majestic skyline lies a crumpled turquoise shell. Half movie prop, half time capsule. Over the years, the spot earned an unofficial nickname, Thelma and Louise Point. Hikers and helicopter tours occasionally glimpse flashes of weathered chrome and rusted frame glinting in the sun. What's trash to the park rangers is treasure to film fans, a relic of 1991 frozen in the desert dust. It's oddly poetic. The film's heroine soared into legend. But one of their cars literally stayed behind, as proof that fiction sometimes leaves physical scars. Number 6. The Last Survivor. From getaway car to museum piece. While a few Thunderbirds met their cinematic doom, at least one survived the chaos. The hero car used for close-ups and those smooth cruising scenes. After filming Wrapped, this particular '66 convertible avoided the scrapyard and eventually found a new home under soft museum lighting. Today, it lives at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles. Polished to perfection and proudly, wearing its turquoise paint like a badge of honor. This is the same car that reunited with Gina, Davis and Susan Sarandon for the film's 30th anniversary in 2021, seeing them lean against it again, this time on a red carpet instead of a dusty highway, was pure nostalgia fuel. According to Sarandon, Ridley Scott kept the other Thunderbirds after filming, even gifting a couple to his sons. But this one became the public's to admire. From desert sun to climate-controlled glory. The last surviving Thunderbird now spends its days being photographed, not chased. A well-earned retirement for a car that once outran the law and gravity alike. Next up, let's pop the hood and check out the quirks that made this land yacht surprisingly high-tech for its time. Number 5. Quirky tech, swing-away steering, and flashy taillights. Before it became a symbol of rebellion, the '66 Thunderbird was Ford's playground for futuristic gadgets. Take the swing-away steering wheel. When the gear shift is in park, the entire steering column slides 18 inches to the right, making it easier to step out like a movie star. Stylish? Absolutely. Practical? Only if you remember to lock it back before trying to steer. Then there were the sequential taillights. 3 lamps on each side that flashed in order to signal a turn. Imagine pulling up to a stoplight in the '60s and your car doing a mini light show. And don't forget the power convertible top, a symphony of relays, motors, and switches that folded away with mechanical drama. When it worked, it was elegant. When it didn't, it looked like the car was trying to eat itself. Oh, and that trunk barely fit a weekend bag once the top was down. It's part luxury liner, part Rube Goldberg machine, and all character. Number 4. Under the hood. Muscle car makeover. Don't let the Thunderbird's elegant looks fool you. This cruiser had some serious brawn beneath the hood. The standard 1966 T-Bird came with Ford's 390 cubic inch V8 pumping out around 315 horsepower, plenty for smooth highway gliding. But if you wanted a bit more bite, Ford offered the 428 cubic inch upgrade, a 345 horsepower beast that could move this land yacht faster than anyone expected. The kicker? That performance boost cost just $64 back then. $64 to turn your dad's lounge on wheels into a stealth muscle car. For the movie, rumor has it the stunt Thunderbirds were tuned up even further to handle chase scenes and high-speed shots. Susan Sarandon once mentioned one of the cars even caught fire during filming, probably from all that desert heat and horsepower colliding. Gas mileage? Let's just say single digits, if you were lucky. So yes, Louise's cruiser might have looked classy, but it could roar like a beast when pushed. Number 3. Movie goofs, the vanishing Thunderbird. Even with 5 Thunderbirds and a full production crew, a few cinematic hiccups slipped through. And once you spot them, you'll never unsee them. In the tanker explosion scene, for instance, the chrome rear of the truck perfectly reflects the road behind it. But where's the Thunderbird? Gone. Instead, you can clearly see the camera rig car filming the scene. So much for movie magic. Then there's the moment right after that fiery explosion. Thelma and Louise are shown sitting on the T-Bird's trunk watching the blaze, but in the very next shot, they're climbing up onto it again. Apparently they loved that pose so much they did it twice. And if you look closely during the trooper pullover scene, the roadside guardrail appears and disappears between cuts like it's playing peekaboo. Now let's see how this Thunderbird flew straight into legend. Number 2. Cultural afterlife. That freeze frame of the Thunderbird mid-air didn't just end a movie. It started a cultural legend. Thelma and Louise's leap has been spoofed, referenced, and celebrated for decades. The Simpsons, Family Guy, even music videos have paid homage. With characters driving off cliffs in their own Thelma and Louise moment, that shot of a turquoise convertible suspended in time became cinematic shorthand for freedom, rebellion, and defiance, all rolled into one frame. The car itself gained celebrity status. Fans buy replica Arkansas plates reading FRS 635, the same as Louise's, and collectible die-cast models of the turquoise T-Bird sell out fast. When Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon reunited in 2021, they even recreated their pose in the car, a joyful callback that made headlines all over again. More than 3 decades later, that Thunderbird isn't just a movie prop, it's a metaphor. It represents the moment you decide to steer your own destiny. Consequences be damned. But the weirdest part? This car became more than metal. It became a character. Number 1. The car that became a character. Myth. Metal by the end of Thelma and Louise, the Thunderbird isn't just transportation, it's transformation. What started as a cushy personal luxury car became the third main character, silently reflecting every turn in the story. It's glamorous at first, carefree and cool, then battered, dusty, and defiant, mirroring its passenger's evolution from timid to fearless. By the time it sails into the sky, that turquoise convertible is no longer a machine. It's a metaphor with chrome bumpers. Think about it. The last convertible of its line, a relic of comfort culture, repurposed as a symbol of freedom and rebellion. 5 identical Thunderbirds played one role, and together they created a myth that outlived them all. And there you have it. 10 weird and wonderful facts about the 1966 Ford Thunderbird that rolled, roared, and quite literally flew into movie history. If this ride down movie lane revved your engines, drop a comment with your favorite fact, or tell us where your jaw landed the first time you saw that iconic ending. While you're at it, hit subscribe for more cinematic car adventures.